time now for us to catch up with culture correspondent Steve Bell. Hey Steve, how are things with you today?
Good evening, George. I am good. You?
Very good. Good to be talking to you.
Thank you.
Now, today we're talking about summer songs because despite it being, well, pretty miserable weather for most of the country here in New Zealand, in the States they're of course heading into summer. So, a big time of year in the music industry over there, Steve.
Big time of the year. The summer song of each year is a big deal. So these are the songs that, when you think of the Christmas holidays of a particular year, that was the defining song, the song that pop radio thrashed in 2009. You'll know it. The official MTV Summer Jam of 2009 was this song. And this was the summer song of 2008. Was that really 2 years ago? Should we keep on going? Jam of 2007 was this song. These are the songs that booked themselves a spot on radio and at parties for decades. 10 years ago, the year 2000. So, George, where are we going with this?
Well, apart from bringing back the memories and starting to sound like classic hits, where are we going with this?
As you said, we're just coming into winter here, but they go into their summer, and so now is when artists need to have their song in contention by to be the summer song of this year. Black Eyed Peas are the only other artist in the last decade to have had two summer jams. As we said earlier, I got a feeling in 2008, and let's get it started, 2004. In 2010, they tell me that the lead contender is again Katy Perry. So this could be her second shot at a summer song. People are going to be dancing and drinking to this song, calling it a party song. So it's supposed to be a happy song, celebrating life. But what's most intriguing is whose life? Whose life are we celebrating? Ours or someone else's? Because this song celebrates the beautiful who live a life of leisure in a land of luxury. Is that you, George?
Not at this time of year, anyway.
Because it's not me either. I'm not beautiful. I'm average. I don't live a life of leisure. I work. And to me, a land of luxury comes at a cost to someone else, and I sure don't want that. So, if we're not celebrating our reality, why isn't the song a fizzer and a flop? Why are we, as a generation, so into this song that it's billed to be the song we will remember forever, the summer of 2010 by?
Do you think it's because it's just such a catchy pop song and it's quite addictive, that it's got that very much that top 40 feel to it and very much a summer song, or do you think it's maybe because, you know, we're ready to celebrate something that isn't reality then?
I think we would love to celebrate reality, but I think here we are willing to celebrate what we have been programmed to wish for, which is the life of a consumer rather than a contributor. But if we could wipe all that programming, as you said, and celebrate reality, if we could look inside and ask ourselves what life we really want to celebrate, I think it would be more like this. Instead of celebrating the beautiful, I think we'd want to celebrate the beauty of all humanity, to celebrate that we humans are made in the image and likeness of God. I don't think we'd want to celebrate leisure over and above the satisfaction of creating, of labour, of work. As King Solomon said, enjoy food, drink, and find satisfaction in work. These are the pleasures from the hand of God. The other thing that I think that we've been programmed to wish for was the life of luxury, which is what California Gurls espouses. But I got to thinking that even the promised land required some maintenance. All that milk and honey, somebody had to be the dairy farmer and somebody had to be the apiarist. I don't think we were created for luxury. And despite a move in modern times to a gospel of abundance, I personally like to remember how Jesus prayed, give us enough bread for today. So me, when I hear Katy Perry and the geriatric Snoop Dogg in a decade's time singing this song, I'm going to try and remember it in a different way. And I hope I've just inspired a few others to remember it as such too.
We're hanging out with a culture correspondent, Steve Bell, here on The Late Show. Coming up next, we'll talk about Katy Perry's background and Christian faith. This now is Guy Sebastian. Slow down. We're talking pop culture with Steve Bell here on The Late Show. In terms of Katy Perry and her reality, she comes with an interesting story. Her background, she used to actually be a Christian recording artist, is that right?
She did used to be a Christian recording artist. Have you heard her early stuff?
No, I haven't. I've just heard a lot about her. I've heard the fact that her parents are pastors or missionaries, and she used to go out with Matt Thiessen from Reliant K, right?
She did. I've heard some of her early stuff.
What's it like?
Well, actually, musically, it's really good. It's kind of a little bit like early Panic at the Disco, a little bit vaudeville, a bit more rock. She plays a lot more guitar. She grew up with an older sister and a younger brother in her parents' ministry. She describes it as evangelical with a heavy Pentecostal flavour. She went to a Christian school, Christian camp, church several times a week, and she says that it was kind of like an island. We spoke in tongues, she says, and we knew there was this one way and all the other ways were wrong. So there she was, recording Christian albums. What changed? Well, Katy had questions, valid questions, in a religion that doesn't allow questioning, I suppose. She says it's so easy to know everything when you're a kid. God, I miss that. Then you start to wonder, Dudeface is going to hell, she says, because he grew up in a family just like mine, except in another country and Muslim. And I'm not even going to attempt to answer that question. What I do want to say is this. Most people say Christianity is about faith overcoming doubt.
It's interesting that we're talking about this given what we discussed last week in terms of needing to approach our faith with being able to ask questions, isn't it? Because this shows the danger of not doing that.
It does. One of my favourite philosophers is an Irishman, Peter Rollins. He's just finished a pub tour of North America, and he recognises that unless Christianity engages doubt, we will lose many more Katy Perrys for lack of a holistic answer. Rollins says that Christianity is a religion founded on doubt. It's a religion, he says, where God doubts God. My God, why have you forsaken me? And he posits that when we doubt is when we partake in the very identity of Christ on the cross.
It's okay to question, it's okay to have these doubts. It's not exactly a sin to do so then, is it?
He says not. I think so. But this is a recent discovery for me. I thought that faith had to overcome all of my doubts and that it was not okay to doubt. But now I can admit I doubt. I doubt a lot of things about God.
And there's freedom in that, isn't there?
There is. Because when Katy Perry says Dudeface is going to hell because he grew up in a family just like mine but Muslim, eloquent, one of the areas I doubt God's goodness in is that. And I just don't see how within the current confines of evangelical understanding we can reconcile that. But you know what? I still want to follow Jesus. Faith isn't being sure of God. Faith is being sure of what I hope for. And I hope that God is good.
I like the way that some Christian traditions put this about. They talk about God being the great mystery, and I think that evangelicals often come to that and they might think, oh, that's wrong, that's not showing any respect to God. But I think it's quite the opposite. It's recognising the fact that God is divine and God is different, but we as humans aren't ever going to, this side of heaven certainly, understand everything about him, and that there's power in that.
I think if we could present a little bit more of that mystery and be okay with that, it might go a little better for people like Katy Perry.
Because they feel they could engage. It's not a matter of just chucking out the baby with the bathwater when they've got these questions then.
Oh, she actually says on record, she has a Jesus tattoo on her left wrist, so that whenever she plays guitar, she sees her Jesus tattoo looking back at her. And she says, it's looking back up at me, to remind me that that's where I come from, and probably, she says, where I'm going back to.
That's interesting.
That's interesting. That's 20 months ago, and things change. But that was well after I Kissed a Girl was a mainstream chart event. So I think Katy could go back, but I think the sort of faith that she could go back to looks quite different to modern Christianity, because modern Christianity just can't meet her in her doubt. I think it would have to be some sort of postmodern, emergent Christianity, and I think this discussion is a whole lot wider than just Katy Perry, because I think this covers vast multitudes of what they call the missing generation who are not in our churches today.
All right, good stuff. Thanks, Steve. That's Steve Bell. You can check out his music reviews at popology.net.